Good morning and afternoon to Dr. Donna. First of all, let me introduce our group. I am Muhammad Nur Shazib bin Muhammad Nordin as the group leader, together with my team members, RSN Tienza Anin Jelai, Patricia Ayo Anak Wan, Alexta Sebistia Anak Alim, and Siti Nur Najihwa binti Razali. Today, we will presenting our case study on the Dayak Research Institute.
I will be presenting our case study on Dayak Research Institute, which is DRI. DRI is a cultural and research-based organization that focus on preserving and promoting Dayak heritage in Sarawak. It plays an important role in protecting indigenous knowledge, cultural identity, and traditional practices. The Institute carries out activities such as cultural documentation research, community program, workshop, seminars, and exhibition. This effort help ensure that Dayak culture is preserved and passed on to future generations. However, funding is essential in the arts and cultural sector. Without sufficient financial support, many of these programs may struggle to continue and reach wider communities. Therefore, this case study explore how funding and sponsorship support institutions like Dayak Research Institute, focusing on financial mechanism and their role in cultural sustainability.
This slide shows the theoretical framework of my study. It is based on two main concepts. The first one is the public good model, and the second one corporate social responsibility. First, the public good model explains that cultural heritage benefits society as a whole, so it needs support from institutions and organizations. In this study, the Dayak Research Institute helps preserve Dayak culture heritage through research, documentation, and community program. The second concept is corporate social responsibility, or CSR, which refer to how organizations contribute to society beyond making profit. Through CSR initiative, culture research and heritage preservation can be supported while also strengthening the relationship between organization and the community. That's all from me. Thank you.
For this slide, I will explain government grant as one of the main funding sources. Government grants are public funds used to support research and cultural preservation activities. In the case of the Dayak Research Institute, it is supported by the Sarawak government and the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. For example, 15.4 million ringgit Sarawak research grants support cultural and innovation-based projects in the region. The advantage of this funding is that it provides stable financial support for cultural programs. However, it is still dependent on government policies and funding allocation. For this slide, I will explain corporate social responsibility, or CSR. CSR refers to support of funding from private companies for social and cultural development. In the case of Dayak Research Institute, CSR plays a role in supporting cultural and community programs. For example, companies such as Petronas contribute to cultural innovative as part of the social responsibility effort. This type of support helps preserve cultural heritage while also enhancing the company's public image and relationship with the community.
In this slide, I will explain the role of academic endowment in supporting the Dayak Research Institute. Academic endowment refers to long-term funding used to support research and academic development. This type of funding is important for ensuring sustainability. The Dayak Research Institute have benefited from collaboration with University Malaysia Sarawak, which is UNIMAS, where endowment funds are used to establish research chairs. This support long-term studies in culture and heritage. This also allows continuous research and help preserve Dayak knowledge for future generations. Overall, academic endowment strengthens the institute's research capacity and long-term sustainability. Next, I will discuss about earned income as part of the case analysis. Earned income refers to revenue generated directly from an organization's own activities and services. In the case of Dayak Research Institute, this may include the sale of publications, cultural materials, and participations in paid cultural programs or events. Although the amount may be limited, it still provides important self-generated funding. This helps support the Institute's cultural and research activity while also reducing its reliance on external funding sources.
Next, I will explain the critical evaluation of the Dayak Research Institute. Overall, the institute has an effective funding strategy because it supports cultural preservation through community-based and diversified funding approaches. However, there are still some weaknesses. The institute depends heavily on external grants, which are not always stable and can affect long-term planning. In addition, its limited international presence also restricts access to larger funding opportunities. To improve, the institute can increase corporate sponsorships, strengthen its digital visibility, and build stronger partnerships with institutions such as University Malaysia Sarawak. In conclusion, the Dayak Research Institute model shows that funding diversification and community engagement are very important for long-term sustainability in cultural organizations.
For this part, I will explain the recommendation for the Dayak Research Institute. First, Dayak Research Institute should not depend too much on government grants. They also can earn money through cultural workshops, training programs, and selling heritage products. Second, Dayak Research Institute can work more with companies through CSR. For example, companies like Petronas can support their cultural programs and give more stable funding. Third, Dayak Research Institute can use digital platforms and crowdfunding like Kickstarter or GoFundMe. This can help them raise money for specific projects and also get more public support. Lastly, Dayak Research Institute improve their branding and online promotion so more people know about them and are not interested to support. Overall, this strategy can help Dayak Research Institute become more stable and sustainable in the future. Thank you.
To conclude this, we believe that the Dayak Research Institute used a mix of funding sources including government support, corporate sponsorship, academic partnership, and some of it its own income. This shows how important it is for art organizations to rely on multiple funding sources to support cultural preservation. However, this institute still depends heavily on external funding, which can affect its long-term stability. So, improving income diversity and building stronger partnership is important for its future sustainability. That's all from us. Thank you for your attention.